Crossout is my favorite game right now. They've got such interesting online multiplayer combat with fully customizable self-built cars that have incredible physics. And there's not a tiny bit of lag. Well, sometimes the whole server lags, but I'm sure that's just a bug and it'll be fixed eventually. And also it's really rare, which is amazing because you can build literally anything. Well, no, not, but you can build so much and it'll react physically the way you built it. And it'll collide with other players that are also currently driving their own cars. I don't think you people understand what an amazing feat of online multiplayer engineering that is. You should play Crossout. I'm very hyped for what they come up with next in Crossout, because Crossout is still in early access, in open beta, and it's so much fun. Oh my god. I cannot undersell how amazing this game is. You should play it. But I have several things that bother me about it, and they should definitely try to improve them. And here's 11 things that they could fix about the 10 little edges they could cut off this diamond in the rough to make it perfect and flawless. Here we go. So first of all, we've got a few game balance issues. If you play low-level builds, okay, let me just say, there's power score. Basically, it's like the level that you have in an RPG. Basically, the more powerful items and parts you put on your car, the more powerful your power score is. And you get ranked against people who have the same power score, so it's not unfair, despite the fact that there's a large variety of different items that you can put on and earn through game time, and also buy if you must. It's free to play, so why not? Anyways, an easy way to cheat the system is to make a frame build, which is simply done by putting a lot of the frame parts, the tanky pieces that connect the wheels of a car, they're called a frame, and they're the strongest piece of armor in the game. The easiest way to cheat the system is to just make a car that only has frame, because that's going to be incredibly tanky. And the easiest way to fix that would be to make it so that the frame is only tanky if something else is built upon it. If that something else gets shot off, it'll still stay tanky. But if it's just been built with just nothing but frame, just make that fragile frame that breaks so you can't have fucking disgusting frame builds driving around. Later on, you're not going to see that many frame builds, because later on people will have more parts and they have more stuff to build on. But in the early levels, they can just make a powerful car with nothing but frame parts. And it's perfect because it protects the wheels, and it's really hard to break, so you've just got a really strong car, and they need to fix that, the way I said, by making the frames fragile if there's nothing built upon it. Nothing that isn't frame, nothing that isn't... Well, wheels shouldn't make it stronger, just frame. It's easy to fix these frame builds, just put your mind to it. Alright. Number 2. Drones and turrets. Look at this fucking piece of shit sidekick drone. Look at it. Do you know what gun that is? It's an epic Spectre 2 gun that costs 400 coins. You know how much the fucking sidekick drone costs? It costs 40 coins. What the fuck kind of bullshit is this logic? And not only that, but the sidekick drone costs 3 energy, while the Spectre machine gun costs 4 energy. Why would it be easier to put the gun on a drone? How does that make sense? Fucking drones are bullshit in this game. They're completely overpowered. They deal as much damage as if you had that powerful gun on you, but it takes much less energy. You don't have to aim it because it drives around. They can't shoot it off you because you can respawn another drone in like half a minute. It's completely overpowered. And the same thing for turrets. Now, the way you would have done that would have been so that turrets deal close to no damage, and they'd have like a starter machine gun on them, not a fucking epic Spectre. And you could spam them. Well, that's what it's done. The latest update they added to the game, free update by the way, it's great, it's awesome. But they also added basically ammo packs for drones, so now you can have even more drones. Please, no. just nerf the drones. I know you nerfed them recently because there was a bug where they accidentally dealt 50% more damage than they should have, and that was fucking noticeable because they would shoot apart a tank in seconds. And they're really fucking fast and tiny as well, so it's really hard to kill them for most builds. I guess miniguns might be good at killing them, who knows, but god damn. Please, you gotta fix these drones. I know when you're actually playing with them, they're not that insanely overpowered. Right, I just think it's really bullshit balancing. I think it'd be way better if you could spam the drones so that the other players aren't forced to take out the drones, but then the drones deal very little damage, so your only way would be to run away and spawn drones. Just annoying guerrilla tactics. But the way it's now, they just deal so much damage that it's basically a full-blown assault. You can just run in with your drones, distract them with your car, and there's nothing they can do about it. You could even armor your car really well, and they'd be even more fucked. They don't even have a high power score, these drones. It's completely unbalanced. It needs to be fixed. Alright, number 3. Wedge builds versus tanks. So as I said, on higher power scores, by the way, I still play lower power scores because it's more fun, and because you can put more XP multipliers on your card. There's no reason to play high power score unless you've got really good equipment. And I like to challenge myself by building low power scores, so don't think that high power scores are something that you'll be forced to play. So anyways, when you do play high power scores, you're going to find that half the cars are going to be wedge builds. And that's really annoying, because in a wedge build, it's really strong. Basically, you got a thin wedge in front that is basically useless. I mean, what's the word I'm looking for? Expendable, like that shitty movie. Yes. It's expendable. You don't care if you lose the front of your car. So whenever you get shot, you just lose that pointless front. Alright, no problem. What happens if you get rammed? Well, it's obvious, right? When you get rammed and you're running a wedge build, your attacker will drive over you, rendering him useless. So it's really strong against shooting and really strong against ramming. And in fact, if you're a wedge build, you can drive fast into someone and they'll get rammed as well over you. And it's really infuriating for them. And then you can shoot them from below while they can do nothing. And this isn't incredibly unbalanced, especially now because they've added flying cars. So now the wedge builds aren't as strong as they were. But I still think that they're too strong because they're just so strong. And the reason why they're so strong is because they're bullshit. But, okay, so basically, if you look at real-world tanks, I think they have their point not on the ground, because then they'd get stuck on it all the time, but they have their point higher up. But in Crossout, it's the opposite. You build your tanks as wedgy as possible. And that's the weird thing, is that when you drive underneath a tank, you basically win. But that's bullshit, right? You never want to drive underneath a tank. And you could easily fix that by making it so that a tank deals damage when it's on top of something. So that wedge builds can fuck themselves and stop wedging up the tanks that are incredibly heavy and powerful. How is that a counter to a tank to drive under it? Are you insane? All right. Gee, that was something. I'm sorry about that. I'm really making this game sound terrible. There's not that many of those builds, and there are some counterplays. For example, the wedge builds only shoot forward usually, so I'm sure they're counterable. It's just that I just hate seeing all those wedge builds, that's all. I guess it's just meta. Everyone's just doing it because everyone else is doing it. Who knows? If only they could all have such disgusting cluster trucks as me. Alright. Now, the rest of these things are going to be minor things that they could easily improve by just doing them, so let's look forward to that. Okay, raids are a bit boring, and cargo race is the worst. Yeah, you basically get free fuel, and you gotta play these raids to make use of that free fuel, and then you get a resource that is valuable. But that's too bad, because raids aren't very interesting to play. Especially cargo raids, because cargo raids, basically there's 10 pieces of cargo, and they're placed around the map, and you have to get them in a certain order, and you don't know that certain order. It just tells you which one you're supposed to get, and that's completely retarded. It'd be way... Why can't you take that cargo now? Why don't you make it so that the cargo just appears when it's time to collect it? I don't get it. And then people are camping out at the cargo waiting for it to get ready. It's real silly. I think they should rework that game mode, even though most of the time it just gives you free wins, but whatever. The cargo race, that is. And raids in general, they're just so much based on having the best equipment. Basically, the stronger your car is, the easier it is to win the raids, because they don't scale with your power score. So they're most of the time either way too hard or way too easy, and you're still required to do them for your daily missions, which is too bad. I think there's some improvement there, and maybe you should make some kind of mode where you can play against other players in raids. I mean, it's supposed to be PvE, but I think it'd be still quite nice if there was interesting PvP aspects. More for that later. Alright. That goes into the next point. I just realized that when I wrote these points, I didn't realize I had the perfect solution. Alright, here we go anyways. Next point, 5, I guess. The debrief screen takes too long. I can't believe how slowly it counts up the points you get, and it does it every time by default. I'd like to see the points right away, please. You can escape it and you can click on things, but it'd be better if you could just click anywhere and it would just skip the thing it's doing right now. So you click 3 times, you get to missions or whatever. Or you click once and it instantly shows the points without counting them up slowly. And you click again, it goes to the missions. You click again, it goes to the daily missions or whatever order it was in. The end screen needs improvements. The end screen isn't great. And you can't stay on it as long as you want either. It just exits in 20 seconds. And then next point... 6, I guess, it automatically makes you join a new game. When you're AFK, it puts you in a new game. Why? Why would you do that? Just make... And if you're not AFK, it expects you to wait for 20 seconds, or you gotta make 3 clicks to make it go instant. Why? Just put a button there, next game, and don't make me instantly go into the next game without asking me. What if I'm AFK? You require me to be... to watch the rest of the game in order to give me the rewards. So why would you make it that I instantly get queued up if I'm AFK? It's ridiculous. Alright, here we go. The PvP missions are fucking amazing, but they're always the same, and I wish there was a different one. And I had this idea about the raids. What if the raids were, in fact, where you have 2 teams, possibly even? It would be cool if the teams were based on what faction you're in, but I guess that might not be the best. It'd be interesting, but it would need balancing, because the noob factions would have noob teams, and then the other factions will always have the best team, so you'd have less of the good factions. But anyways, I think it would be great if you had a map with all that cargo, and it takes like 10 seconds, 20 seconds to pick up the cargo, and then you have to drive it home to your base. And there should be about 5 different cargo containers, so that you can't group and just race for one. And then you have 1 or 2 other teams that also have that objective. I think that would make it the perfect PvP mode. I think that would be a great PvP mode, because the current PvP mode, it's just all have to go on the same point, or 2 points, but one point is your base. So basically you have to capture the enemy base or defend your own base. And that mode is, well, it's fun enough, but it's very limiting in strategy, because all you're gonna do is go as a group, and then the group is unstoppable. But if you had that mode that I just told you about, you could make it so that people would go alone, or they would go in smaller groups, and they wouldn't get punished for going alone. I think it'd be way cooler if you could go alone and still get shit done, because right now if you go alone, you're likely to just get fucked up if you run into more enemies. And I think groups are pretty shit to play anyways, because you're just in each other's way all the time, because you can't drive through each other as if it was a game where you aren't monstrous cars. So I think this raid mode that I suggested would be brilliant. I hope they make it. Alright, next one, I guess. Fuck numbers. HUD elements are covering up important things. Like in the cargo race, it shows this symbol of that cargo that you need to pick up, and it's huge on the screen. It doesn't scale with how far away it is. So if the cargo is really far away and there's 10 enemies around it, you can't see the enemies because the HUD of that cargo is too big. And that's an easy fix. You just move it up. Or maybe you even scale it, I don't know. But just move it higher up so you can actually see the cargo. Don't cover up the cargo with the HUD elements that indicate the cargo is there. That's just retarded. I still want to see the actual cargo and the enemies guarding it. And the same thing is with names and flying drones. If someone has flying drones, chances are they're going to get covered up by his name, and that's fucking retarded. What are those, stealth drones? No. Fucking no. You gotta find a fix for that. I don't have an idea how to fix it, but you gotta find a fix for it. I guess maybe drones should be on top of the names, who knows. Alright. Number 9, I suppose. Bullshit crafting. Look at this button. It says craft shit machine gun for valuable scrap metal. Click here to waste 300 scrap metal now. Alternatively, you can click on a machine gun and buy it for, I don't know, like 5 scrap metal on the market. Normally these machine guns are even cheaper, but now they're expensive because everyone wants to craft these sci-fi weapons that just came out, and the machine guns are somehow valuable ingredients for that. So yeah, just remove that crafting button. No one's gonna craft white items, or maybe just make them really cheap to craft, make it so it costs like 20 scrap metal to craft. That would be fair. Why would you have a button there that says waste your money now? I mean, that's just insulting. You don't want to insult your audience. I crafted some of those when I was a little noob. Fuck that shit. I mean, it's obvious. The button's right there. You don't think that you would want to go to the market before you go to the craft? Well, maybe you would. Well, either way, go to the market. Buy your shit. It's way cheaper. Alright. Oh, I'm getting a bit hoarse here. Alright, time-based daily missions. Number 10. These missions are bullshit. Remove them. This mission basically says leave the game open for 2 hours. You don't even have to play, and then we give you a reward. And also the reward is shit, by the way, so don't even bother. Just get rid of those, they're pointless. And the one that says 14 hours a week, are you kidding me? Who cares? I mean, I play that much because I'm highly addicted, but why would you have that as a mission? 14 hours a week? What are you, insane? And it's pointless anyways, because you can just leave a game open, and it kicks you for being idle, but then it tells you that it kicked you, and you can just log back in. Fucking great job. Just get rid of those missions. Just put on more regular missions where you actually have to do something. Just get like 100 kills or something. Be way cooler. And lastly, just a tiny thing, that one. The scopes, they don't show you where you're pointing at, and the car goes forward no matter where you're looking at, so you don't even know which way your cannons are facing or whatever, if you have cannons that don't turn. Just make a marker on the screen that shows you where the forwards of the car is. I put the spike here in my car to indicate how that would look, but it's huge and it covers up a bit of my screen. It would be nice if it had that feature by itself. Please do that. It would help a lot. Alright. Tell me what you think of this form of video. Subscribe for more. Goodbye. I won't play Crossout for fuck's sake. Oh, also, I want a zombie game mode. What's the point of having apocalyptic vehicles if you can't run zombies over with it? Come on, where's the zombie raid? Now that's the kind of PvE that would make sense.